Hello, my name's Eleanor May Blackburn and I'm a trustee for a creative transformation. This last week was the 10th anniversary of my brain injury, and I'm having a big party on Saturday to celebrate 10 years of being alive because, any excuse for a party. So I had a brain injury at 18 and a stroke. I had a subdural hematoma, and my whole life was completely changed. I was in hospital for 2 months, in a coma for 2 weeks, and it was definitely the worst part of my parents' life. I don't remember much of it, so I guess probably wasn't the worst part of mine. But yeah, I had to learn to eat, talk, walk again. I was in uni at the time. I'd just started my first term of uni and everything changed. I couldn't speak in hospital, so I had a machine to type out words on, and I had a tracheostomy, and I was writing out on this machine, I need to finish my essay, and my dad was like, you really don't. So I was in hospital over Christmas, and it was really difficult. I came home and we had to have modifications around the house, a stair rail and a seat in the bath, stuff like that. But I went back to university the next September, even though I was still in recovery, still finding things difficult. I'm very stubborn, I've always been very stubborn, and I just wanted to get straight back to it. So I managed to get, for my first module, and the second time I was there, I managed to get a first still. I got exactly the same mark as I got before my injury, which is bizarre to me. I had a separate area in the library where I could go and nap if I needed to in the middle of lectures, in the middle of contact hours. Just to know that I could take a break was really important, I think. But it's acting that I was studying. I've always been very creative, and I graduated with a first in 2019. 3.5 years after I nearly died, my parents got a phone call, and they said on the phone, we need permission to operate now and you need to get ready to say your goodbyes. So, I mean, getting that phone call, yeah. But I decided in my third year at uni, we had a module called Show in a Bag, and you had to create a show that you could take with you anywhere. And I wrote some spoken word surrounding my brain injury, and I called it Subdural Hematoma, and that was extended into a 60-minute piece that toured. I got Arts Council funding, and I spoke about my experience and my parents' experience of my brain injury. I used a lot of diary entries that my mum kept from the time. She kept a diary every day that I was in hospital, and she documented it. So I thought, well, let's turn this into art. And that's what I've always done. I've always turned bad things that happened to me into art. And I really found writing when I was at uni. I'd always written, but I think I used that for my recovery. I used writing and exercise as the way to get through what had happened to me. So since then, I've created a further 2 solo shows and written various other short plays and plays. I'm a supported artist at Sheffield Theatres. In February of this year, I had a full collection of poetry published for the first time by Stairwell Books, and in February of this year, I was diagnosed with MS, and I'm told it's not related. So that's just another bad thing that I'll probably make a solo show about at some point. Yeah, writing and exercise were really crucial to my recovery, and I was delighted to attend a workshop at the Yorkshire Sculpture Park about creative transformation, and with brain injury survivors like Lorna and myself. And it really struck me, the fact that Lorna had a brain injury at 18 and I had a brain injury at 18. I'd never met another person who had a brain injury at 18. It was just really, wow, that was wild to me, because you don't meet that. It does happen, it happens to young people as well, but you don't meet all that many, and you always hear about the older people who suffer brain injuries. So I thought Lorna was absolutely incredible. As soon as I met her, I really wanted to be involved. I asked Lorna how I could get involved in the scheme, in the project, A Creative Transformation. I thought it sounded absolutely wonderful and inspiring. So I've facilitated various workshops before for community groups, in a freelance capacity and as part of organisations. So I've worked with domestic violence survivors, I've worked with Women of the World Festival, I've worked with colleges, universities, but I never worked with a group of brain injury survivors and carers before. And I thought, that's people with my lived experience, that's the people I really, really want to reach out to. And I think that will, as well as like helping them hopefully with creativity, I can maybe do something for myself. So we talked, and I facilitated a workshop for that group of people at 42nd Street in Manchester, and we laughed and we were silly and we were deep, and it was just an absolutely beautiful experience. And I was over the moon when Lorna asked me to be a trustee of A Creative Transformation, because that creativity helped me to really flourish and recover. So I really want to be involved in that, and I think it's a fantastic thing that Lorna's doing, and that those other people, the other trustees, are doing. And we do need to know more about brain injury, and we need to really work hard to understand that it's not always, it doesn't have to be the end of someone's life, and creativity can really help us see a light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, thank you so much.